Hi, fourth grade friends. Just want to start by saying, of course, I miss you. Miss you so much. Miss you every day. I want to review our last two lessons quickly, if I may. So this is last week. It's our Flipgrid on book talks. The directions are: give a book talk to intrigue other readers, share your recent exciting reads with others, start with a hook to draw them in, give a few details, and wrap up with a cliffhanger to add suspense. Can't wait to hear about what you've been reading. So I shared a book that I first read when I was in fourth grade. Since you're all in fourth grade, it's called From the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Baisley, Frank Weiler. If you didn't have a chance, look at the video on our Flipgrid wall. And I also used it as a teacher when I taught fourth grade out in Colorado. So it's a near and dear book to me. I'm going to show our wall quickly, and let's just look at who submitted the most recent video that comes up.
Hi, my name is Alexa Whitman. I'm going to be telling you about the book Because of Winn-Dixie. Because of Winn-Dixie is about a girl named India Opal. She moves to a town with her dad, and her dad sends her to the grocery store to get some groceries. While she's there, she hears the manager and a bunch of employees running around screaming, "Get that dog!"
Get that dog. What in the world is a dog doing in the grocery store? That's what I want to know. So if you want to know that too, watch the rest of the Flipgrid Alexa put up on Because of Winn-Dixie and grab the book. 2 weeks ago, we worked on our mid-unit Show You Know for Unit 2. And that was a paragraph that I asked you to submit on Google Classroom. We looked at what a model paragraph would be, and then you created your own, and you did a wonderful job. I believe almost everybody has submitted it, but I need a few more submissions. I've left it open so you can still submit if you haven't submitted that yet. And the Flipgrid wall, I'm thinking of keeping up for several weeks so that more people can add to it, and you can add more than one book, and I'll do the same. Okay, so our next lesson in our poetry unit, we've looked at this question a few times. What inspires writers to write poetry? Follow along while I reread pages 1 to 5 in our classic Love That Dog book. Jack, room 105, Miss Stretchberry, September 13th. I don't want to because boys don't write poetry. Girls do. September 21. I tried. Can't do it. Brain's empty. September 27. I don't understand the poem about the red wheelbarrow and the white chickens and why so much depends upon them. If that is a poem about the red wheelbarrow and the white chickens, then any words can be a poem. You've just got to make short lines. October 4. Do you promise not to read it out loud? Do you promise not to put it on the board? Okay, here it is, but I don't like it. So much depends upon a blue car splattered with mud speeding down the road. How was Jack inspired by that first poem, The Red Wheelbarrow by William Carlos Williams? Think about the poem that we just reread, his blue car poem. And think back to that very first poem by the famous poet, William Carlos Williams, titled The Red Wheelbarrow. And you'll see any moment why we're reviewing William Carlos Williams. We're about to start a book called A River of Words. Some targets for this book: I can determine the gist of A River of Words, and I can determine the meaning of unfamiliar vocabulary from A River of Words. Think about, is writing important to you? How do you feel about writing? Don't worry, you could totally be honest. I'd love some of your feedback in Google if you like. And while we read this book, continue to think about what inspires people to write. Okay, so A River of Words is a biography You know what a biography is. You talked about it in third grade with your teachers. You talked about it in the library in second and third grade. But let's review. A biography is an informational text about someone's life. Now, compared to an autobiography, which is also a book about someone's life, but the difference is an autobiography is written by that individual about themselves. Our book, A River of Words, you'll see who it's about, but it's not an autobiography. Okay, it's a biography. So I'm going to show you the cover. Then I'm going to walk you through these are different parts of a book, parts of a nonfiction book that we'll look at. We will go to a timeline, which I'll show you a few parts, and I want you to think about why it's so helpful to have a timeline in a nonfiction book, or in this case, specifically of the genre biography. We'll look at the author and illustrator's note and why that may be included. We'll look at the further reading page, and we'll look at the dedication. So let's do that now. Okay, so here's our cover. This is an ebook version. I'm going to, next week, share with you all the traditional text version. I prefer actually text to e-version. So, yep, River of Words, the story of, ta-da, William Carlos Williams. Our author is Jen Bryant, and our illustrator is Melissa Sweet. Look here, you'll notice it's received a Caldecott honor. Hopefully you remember from your earlier grades in library that a Caldecott book is a book that receives an award, the highest award actually, an illustrator can receive. So it's strictly for the illustrations in a book, for the pictures. So in this case, Melissa Sweet received the award specifically. Interestingly enough, side note, she's gotten other Caldecott Award medals before. So let's go right to, now I'm going too fast probably. Here we go, okay. When I was younger, it was plain to me, I must make something of myself. That's a direct quote. And who quoted that, boys and girls? William Carlos Williams. This is an illustration by Melissa Sweet of what her interpretation of what William Carlos Williams must have looked like. Okay, so now if you happen to have the book with you of A River of Words, a traditional copy, I think what I'm going to fast forward to is page 26, 27 in the traditional copy. It's the timeline though. So let's go to that now. Here we go. Perfect. Okay. So this column is significant events in William Carlos Williams' life. And over here, what the author Jen Bryant has done is she's taken world events that were going on around the same time and kind of mirrored that timeline. So, for example, his birth was in 1883. He was born in Rutherford, New Jersey. And around that same time, you'll see in 1886, John Pemberton invents the drink Coke, Coca-Cola, the soda Coca-Cola. I found it interesting that it's Rutherford, New Jersey, because that's where a lot of my family is from. My aunt, my cousins, and my aunt still lives there. Continue on. This is a 2-page timeline. And I'm hoping you're thinking about why would this be helpful to me as a reader to have this in a nonfiction book. Okay, so continuing on, in the middle are events in William Carlos Williams' life, and over there to the right. So, for example, 1946, it says, publishes first of 5 books of his epic poem, Paterson. Others follow in 1948, 49, 51, and 58. And then over there on the right side, you'll see in 1941, the U.S. entered World War II. 1945, around the time of his publications, the U.S. drops the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and World War II ends. Okay. So let's go down. I told you I also wanted to point out a part of the book, the author's note and illustrator's note. So this will be included if an author is trying to give you some more information about the topic of the book, and sometimes also even about themselves. And here's Melissa Sweet's The Illustrator's Note. You will find these more often in a nonfiction book again. In this case, like I said, the specific genre is biography compared to a fiction book. These features of text we're going over. Same with this next feature of text feature. Jen Bryant has called this for further reading. Sometimes in a nonfiction book, this will be called works cited or a bibliography, or do you want to learn more? So what this is, it's a list of sources that our author, Jen Bryant, went to do research to learn about William Carlos Williams while writing this book. And as you get older, this page or pages in a book can be very helpful, because if you're enjoying the topic or you need to do research on a topic, this is a page that you'd go to, and here you go. Here's some sources for you right now. You don't have to go out and look for sources. Then you can go through and find what would be the most helpful in your research. And the last feature I'll point out to you in this text is the dedication page and the copyright page. In this case, they're combined, which isn't often the case. And the other thing that's interesting here is that it's in the back of the book. Most of the time, you'll find a dedication page and a copyright page in the beginning of the book. So you'll see J.B. here. That's our author, Jen Bryant. She dedicated the book to Leah and Zinta. And our illustrator, Melissa Sweet, well, she's dedicated the book to Lisa. Now, we don't know who these people are, but clearly they're very important to our author and our illustrator. And then right below is the copyright page. So the copyright page is where you find that information on when was the book published, which, who is the publisher of the book, etc. Let's go back to our PowerPoint, please. So this is what we're going to do next week. Just thought I'd give you a preview. As for now, this week the work is complete. I want you to complete that show you know, like I said in the beginning of the lesson 12 minutes ago, and a Flipgrid on our Flipgrid book talk wall if you haven't done so already. But this is what will be coming up next week. We'll read pages 2 to 8 together. I'll have the text in hand, so it'll be a little bit different than showing you the ebook version. And these will be some questions that you'll have to start. And we're going to create a word wall for this book that everyone will contribute to. Okay. If you have any questions, please reach out. You know, we still have that live chat feature that some of you have used. You can find me on there too. Email, and I'll see you all online soon. Bye, guys.